Hi everyone, welcome to Stamper's Niche, and I know that this is not my usual time for going live, but I was in the middle of creating and I thought, why not create with you? And so even if you can't watch it live, I'm sure you might catch the replay and hopefully it inspires you. So what I was supposed to be doing this morning was washing floors, so I'd rather craft with you any day than wash floors. My name is Lillian Kemp, and I'm coming to you from Alberta, Canada, which at this moment is in a big deep freeze, but it's going to warm up in time for Christmas, so that'll be good. So it's a great time to be crafting if you're all ready for Christmas, or if you're like me and you get sidetracked a little bit. What I'm preparing for is card swap. So that's sort of like a cookie exchange, or when you trade hockey cards, that kind of thing. And it's something from the new catalog that's coming out January 5th. So I had to create, I think I'm creating 26 of these cards, and I thought I would just share the process with you. So let's go down to my desk and see what it's all about. Whoops, there with oh, how come it's not doing the flipperoo? My fingers must be too cold. There we go. Don't even want to make the phone work. So first off, I'm hoping that you all have these two catalogs. Stamping Up got them out nice and early this year, and I'm hearing that people have them, so they would have arrived together. So there's the mini catalog, the January to April one, and then Celebration, and that is January 5th to February 28th. Thank you, Karen. I just saw that. A bright spot in a cold morning. Thank you. I think anytime we craft together, it's a bright spot, right? So I'm going to share a bundle from this catalog. I cannot show you the inside of the catalog yet. I can on January 5th. And then if you buy a bundle like the one I'm sharing you today, you will qualify for something free out of here. So just keep that in mind as you're planning your shopping dollars. So first off, let me just show you the bundle. So the bundle has this wonderful stamp set called Gingko Branch, and I was attracted to this partly because of the flow of the stamps, but also the words. I'm always needing sympathy cards, and I needed to refresh my sympathy card supply. So I thought this would be a good way of doing it. Plus, I just liked the simplicity of the script there. And then there is also a coordinating die set, the Gingko Branch dies. Did you notice that the stamp set and the dies now have the same name? So it'd be really easy to find them if you're storing them in separate places. So here they are here. So look at this, and there's even a label in here. It's fabulous. So you know how I like to do my little get acquainted sheet with it. So here it is right here. So it's a distinctive stamp. So we have these dies that will cut out the images like this. And then we have some standalone dies that just work beautifully on their own. They're just so intricate. I really, really love how our intricate dies have improved in their cutting ability and their just everything. They are just absolutely gorgeous. Plus there's some nice little embossing around the folder there. So this is the bundle that I was to feature in my swaps, and the bundle comes to $72.75. So once you hit a $60 mark, you qualify for Celebration. So that's just a little hint there. So I decided to veer away from reds and greens and Christmas types of colors, and I went with something fairly simple here. So I brought in a card base. I know I've got white here, but I'm going to make a mess in a minute, so I need that paper there. So this is 5.5 by 8.5 scored in the middle. So it's just your regular half sheet of cardstock scored in the middle, and we'll just fold that right now and put that to the side. I better put it right to the side. Like I said, I'm going to make a mess here. And then I'm going to bring in some other paper. I'm going to bring in, I've cut some of the pieces. I've got this piece here, and it is cut from the deckled rectangles. It's basic white. And let me just see. Usually I flip it over. No, it's not that one. It is this one here. So if you're starting on the outside of your deckled rectangles, it's 1, 2, 3. It's the fourth one in. If you don't have the deckled rectangles, you can use any other shape. You've got maybe the stitched rectangles, or you can just cut a rectangle on your paper cutter. And then I have a piece that's just a smidge bigger. This is Blushing Bride, so it's 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. And the reason is I wanted this just to layer on here and have a pop of color. And then I brought in the next largest rectangle, this one right here. So from the outside, it's 1, 2, 3 to be the next layer. So that's where I was heading with that. And we'll just tuck that to the side now. And we're going to start to build our card. So before we do that, I'm going to show you where we're heading. So this is the card that I've come up with. On this one, I did some second and third impressions there. This one, I just did the initial stamp and then the layers. And this is the one we'll be creating right now today. Then I did some of this inside too. So that's where we're heading. So I'm going to do our die cutting first, and I'm bringing in this layer, and only the edges are going to be seen from this layer. So I'm just going to cut my little intricate flower right from the middle. And I'll bring in my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, which I just love. And if you looked at your celebration brochure, you can see that there's a way that you could get this basically for free. So I'm putting in layer 1, a clear plate 2. Oh, thank you, Irene. It was so hard to come up with an idea, but I was happy with the end result, even though the pastel colors are not my usual colors to go to. I quite liked it. So I've got mine, and I've staggered my plates so that they will go in a little bit more easily. Just run it through. The neat thing about this machine is it is so portable. I can take it out and watch TV or that kind of thing, or take it on a trip, because when you fold up these sides, look at how tiny it is. Let's bring an ink pad in. So it is just nice and tiny. So I do love my big one because it cuts all the different things, but for portability, this is just a really nice second one to have. Just so handy. So now we're going to take out this. So we've got that there. We'll bring in my Take Your Pick tool and just poke out this here. Now I could have used an adhesive sheet on the back, but I chose not to, just because, look at, you just wiggle it and everything falls out. Just love that. There's one little stinker, then you just use your Take Your Pick tool. There you go. And we'll move that out of the way. I didn't use my adhesive sheets because I wanted the top of the flower to be free. I didn't want it all to be stuck down. So that's just a side trip. So now we've got that done. Now I think it's time to do a little stamping. And we're not doing tons. I'm bringing in Blushing Bride ink, and I have this stamp from the set. I initially had planned to use maybe the big one, but then I changed my mind, and like you said, Irene, it just was a little bit more simple. So these are distinctive, so there's going to be light and dark, and I'm just going to aim it for somewhere like that. And we'll put that to the side. Now, I wanted to spatter it. So this is where I'm making the mess. In fact, I'm even going to bring in some scrap paper. And I'm going to just put some ink on a clear block, some Blushing Bride. I'll close that up now. And I'm going to bring in my water painters. Now, if I had a Blushing Bride blends, I could do it with that or whatever, but I really quite like the water painters. So what happens with the water painters is you fill the barrel with water, and then you've got a paintbrush that you can use and just clean, and you don't have to keep dipping it in water. There's the little spot here that says push. I'm going to make a puddle of water here, and you can see still some color there from when I did it before. So I've got a puddle, I'm picking up some ink, and my plan is to splatter. So I'm taking my bone folder, I'm going to tap the paintbrush, the water painter, on here, and not too hard. You should see, like I said, I've been making a lot of these, and some of mine look more like it's sleet falling down, and others look like this one, a gentle little rainfall. Now, if I wanted to clean this, I could just rub it on a paper towel or something like that. To clean your block, all you need to do is rinse it under the tap, and it's done. And you can rinse this under the tap too if you want. I'm just going to put it to the side right now and bring this up. Now, I don't know if you can see, but it's got just some gentle little spatters to add some interest to the background. There we go. So now we can pull this out of the way. And I just need to put that, so I'm not going to put something in it. And now we can start to actually build our layers, because that's what's happening, all that's happening here. So we can bring in our adhesive and put some here. Now the trick when you've cut out of here, don't put adhesive here or it's going to go right through. So I just put adhesive on the edges like that. Now it doesn't matter. There we can put, I got a little low down there. I should put a bit there. There we go. And now we've got these lovely layers. Now my plan is to put this on top, and I'm just going to put some adhesive on the stem because I happen to know it's going to be covered, and then where it is a little bit thicker, I'm just putting a dot here, here, and here. So that's, oh, I meant to curl it a little bit. Let's see if I can still do that without getting adhesive anywhere. Do you ever find that? You get ahead of yourself? So there, just layering it over top. And so even though those spots are down, you still get a little bit of dimension there. So I just love that. So now my plan is to do the stamping on the gray granite. So I really am liking gray granite and Blushing Bride together. I think it's so pretty. So what I was doing, because I was making 26, I'm going to show you what I did. I cut out oodles of the labels right here, and then I used my Stamparatus. So I brought my Stamparatus in, and I'm going to bring in another plate and show you how I set it up, because I didn't want to move my words. So for example, if I was wanting to do with sympathy or sending hope and peace, let's just take one of these. What I would do is I've got this, so I did it here. I'll do this one here. So I'm going to place it where I want it in that opening. My thinking of you, I put it towards this end because that's where I wanted the words to be, towards that end. So with sympathy, I'm going to center them just like that. It looks pretty straight. I'm going to pick it up, and now every time I bring this down, it's going to hit the same spot. So just to make sure that it's going to look good, I've got my grid paper in there. I'm going to ink it up. I'll use the gray granite so it shows better. I'm going to ink it up here, and it's a little bit crooked. So now I can make my adjustment and figure that out, and then everything will be perfect. So I can be set up and way to go, and I don't have to have little oops kinds of things along the way. Oh, just as I was putting that away, wanted to show you the other way. When I'm mass producing, I take my silicone mat and I put it on here, and then I put glue on it all, because that multi-purpose liquid glue stays tacky forever. And so you can add glue all the way along. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in one of these that we cut out ahead of time. So it's way easier to cut a whole bunch out ahead of time. And I'm going to bring in my Versamark and my embossing buddy. I just had to show you. Look at this embossing buddy and package. Well loved. And then there's this one here, brand new, and look at the difference in the thickness. Can you see? So you can see that they last a long time, but they do gradually start to disappear. And why do I have an elastic around it? Because otherwise I forget to use it. But I found that if I fasten an elastic to it, then I'm more successful in remembering to use it. Much more successful, actually. It increased it dramatically. Whoops. I'm going to wear them. I showed you the sample. I want mine in here. There we go. So I'm going to put something underneath to give that a little stability. I'm going to ink it up with my Versamark. Just like that. Press down. Now usually I have a tissue, but it's cold here, so I've got sleeves. So I'm going to use my sleeves. All this does is helps my arm or hand to slide more readily. There you go. So you can see it's like that. Move this out of the way. Move my magnets in opposite directions. And move this out of the way so you can see how quickly I can get from here to here by just using that. So let's bring in some embossing powder. I'm so glad this embossing kit is being carried forward. It was in the past, the current mini catalog, and it's going to be carried forward. So that's excellent. There we go. I don't think I need to use this for anything, so I will hold it with my tweezers so I don't burn my fingers. Move that out of the way and bring in my heat tool. Just let my heat tool heat up a little bit. Put this underneath. And then we've got this happening here. I love heat embossing. It's one of the magics of stamping, isn't it? There we go. So we've got it like that. Now let's bring in our pieces. We've got this. We've got this. We've got this piece, but I thought it needed a little bit of interest. So I did add a little interest. Initially, I was just putting this right on the card front and thinking, okay, I would go something like this, which it looks fine, but I decided to step it up a little bit and add this layer here. And what I did is I ran it through the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder, just like this. And so I've got that little bit of texture on the card. So there are words or letters on here, so I want to make sure I've got them right way up. We'll add those to the card. When we were at our conference for demonstrators in Vancouver, one of the people who demonstrated, she did this. She put her glue all the way around, and then she went SU exclamation mark. And some of the other demonstrators have said they've used that in classes, and people don't get too much glue on their work now. It gives them something sort of fun to do and control of the glue instead of covering the whole thing. So there we go. I'm going to turn that over and give it a good burnish with my hand. Now, often I would put this on dimensionals, but I'm not going to because it's got quite a bit of dimension here already. So I'm going to fasten it right down. Like that. And it looked nice centered. I decided to offset it a little bit. And then this seemed a little bit big. So in my planning process, I decided that if I ran it to the edge of the card and cut it off here, that would look pretty good, at least in my eyes. So that was my thinking. So I'm going to just put it in the paper trimmer, and so I get a nice straight cut. So now I've got it like that. And then I thought, well, one of the rules of the card swap was that you had to use a ribbon or an embellishment. And I thought, I have got this gorgeous, gorgeous gray granite ribbon. It's got some sparkle in it, and it's kind of been neglected. So why don't I bring that in? So I cut off a little piece about like this. Let's see, how long is that? It is about, if you count it from point to point, it's about 4 inches. All right. So all I'm going to do is let's bring this in so you can see where I'm heading again. I'm going to fold it just over like that and fasten it to the back of here. So I'm going to bring in my seal and just put some adhesive down and bring in my silicone mat again here. And then I'm going to just play around. Where do I think it looks good? Maybe a little higher. Whoops, stuck to my finger. So sometimes I want it a little more of an angle. Okay, I think that would look good. Now I'm going to hold it over my card and see what I think. If it lines up at the edge, yeah, I think that looks okay. So now I'm going to bring in some mini dimensionals. I'm going to put one here. I meant to catch a piece of that ribbon. I'll put one there, there, and I'm going to put one on the very end because that end is going to be on the edge of the card. Normally I don't use dimensionals right on the edge of the card, but because this ribbon was a bit bulky, it really needed dimensionals. So that's what I did. Should put this here so you can see. Whoops, wrong card. So now we're going to line that up with the edge. And just like that, we have got this card coming together. So now you know that I can't resist. So I tried a few different embellishments, and I kind of liked this one. So these are the champagne rhinestones, and we're going to just scatter a few. So what I did was I held them over like this, and yep, that color looks good. So let's put some on, scatter them around here. Just a little bling always helps, right? Okay, there we go. And we'll put one down here, sort of draw our eye down as we're going to go inside and open it up and see what's inside. And we are going to, I think we're going to use this one and stamp it in here. So let's just ink that up. I don't want it too dark though. So I'm going to stamp it off once. Should have stamped it on the envelope. I will next time. There, we've got this nice soft flower there, and then one of the words from the stamp set is friend. So we've got thinking of you, friend. Now we could have put with sympathy, we could do any combo, but I'm going to use friend because then I can write whatever I want when the occasion comes. So just like that, we have this gorgeous card. At least I think it's gorgeous, and I'm seeing some of you saying the same thing. Now, this card would be so easy to create in all different other colors as well. So those of you who know me know that I'm a little challenged at using purple, but I think the purples would look really good on this as well. We've got some new paper coming that has this shimmer. Let me see just what color, what's it called? I forget what it's called. It has green and gold and fresh freesia, and it's called the Fine Shimmer. So it's not like the glimmer paper. It is a thinner paper than glimmer, and it is gorgeous to work with. So fresh freesia, I think, would look really good. So if we even just stuck with the gray granite, and trying to find somewhere to put that, sorry. Gray granite, what colors would you put with the gray granite, do you think? A balmy blue or pool party would look nice too if you're into blues, that kind of thing. So here is your sneak peek at a bundle coming your way, and hopefully it's a little bit refreshing to see something other than Christmas and gets you thinking that way a bit too. Now, if you're like me and you've been putting off washing the floors or doing some other task that you should be doing but haven't, I think I better go do that because it's been on my list for, well, too long to mention, but I've given myself today the deadline. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy this card and the ideas that this is sparking in your head. Take care. Bye-bye.